Welcome back, everybody, to We Talk Film. I am your host, as always, Barry, joined as always by Clayton. How you doing, Clayton?
Hey, Barry, I'm doing good. And do you want to know why I'm doing good, Barry?
Why are you doing so well?
Well, today we're joined by one of my favorite special guests, our second returning guest, Mr. C. Lego Films himself, a YouTube superstar with a huge fan base who's joining us today.
Absolutely massive.
Yes, yeah. Hello,
Yo,
Mr. C.
what's
Lego.
up, guys?
Hello,
so
C.
excited to
Lego
be here again.
Films.
Let's
You
go.
ready for another rant, buddy? You ready to go?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
We always have a thing where every time we bring you on, it's always like kind of the bad films that we review is when you're on.
So that's only been 2 times.
Yeah,
I wasn't on for the Flash, sadly.
No, unfortunately you weren't.
Yeah.
But before we get into today's little movie that we're going to talk about, which I don't really want to talk about at all, we have some news as always. Take it away, Clayton.
All right, we got a bunch of new trailers this week. Starting it off, we got a trailer for what is arguably the worst, most unnecessary thing I've ever seen. We got a trailer for Mean Girls, the remake that looks exactly the same. Yeah, it's exactly the same, except it's set now.
What?
And nothing is different.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, it's exactly the same. Like, you
Bro.
watch the trailer and you're like, this movie, okay, cool, I know exactly, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. So that's cool. Anyway, moving on to something that looks good. We got a trailer for Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the sequel to the Afterlife sort of reboot thing. And this looks good. This looks straight out of the animated Ghostbusters. It looks a little goofy. It looks fun. It's got all of the returning faces and the new ones.
Yep.
Everyone.
Paul Rudd's in it. I'm happy.
Yep.
As long as Paul Rudd's still in it,
Oh,
I'm happy. I'm going to see it.
Yeah, there's like 30 Ghostbusters now. They're all in this. It looks cool. So that's cool. Also over on Disney, we got a trailer for Inside Out 2, and I will say it looks kind of meh. It looks like the first one was alright.
Yeah, I really didn't see the point.
I haven't even watched the first one yet, so
it's not
pretty
bad.
good.
It's pretty good. Okay.
Yeah, it's for modern
kind of
sort of
like
Pixar. It's good.
It's modern Pixar.
It's got clever. It's got some funny stuff. But yeah, this one looks unnecessary. It's just kind of the teenager emotions show up now, and it's like anxiety and then like depression.
Okay.
And it's just kind of weird.
I'm going to kill myself now, and then the actual little character does kill itself. That'd be funny.
That'd be awesome.
I don't think that'll happen, but
okay.
All right, and then
you
over
never know.
over on
They
Netflix
might watch the
side of
Marvels.
things.
Over on Netflix side of things.
Over on Netflix, we got a trailer for Avatar: The Last Airbender, the live-action show that's coming out in February next year, and this looks really good.
Oh,
Like,
yes, I am.
This looks really faithful
to
to it.
Yep.
Especially because Netflix is coming hot off the heels of their One Piece adaptation, which is doing really well. I haven't seen, but people say that that's really good and also really faithful to the source material. So the fact that Avatar looks even better and even more faithful is got me really hyped, because I am a huge Avatar: Last Airbender fan. So seeing that this show looks really good,
Be
and all of the
prepared
action
for the next 20 years of being Avatar: The Last Airbender just everywhere because of how many shows and movies they've got coming up.
That's true.
Wasn't there like one really shitty live action movie about?
No, that doesn't exist.
No, that doesn't exist. We don't talk about that one, Chris.
Never. I don't know what you're on about, Chris. That's not real. You've made that up. That's not real. Don't ever bring that up again. You're not coming back on the podcast, Chris. I'm sorry.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I knew what was gonna happen, but I decided to make a joke anyway.
Good.
I'm a menace.
He's a
menace to society.
All right, we got one more trailer that I would like to bring up, and this is coming from arguably the makers of arguably one of my favorite shows ever, Band of Brothers. A new series for Apple. It's going to be 9 episodes, and it's called Masters of the Air. It's got Austin Butler, and it looks really good.
It does.
It looks very similar to a Band of Brothers or the Pacific sort of thing. It's the same.
And it's got what's his name in it? The guy from Banshees of Inisherin, Barry Keoghan. As well.
Yeah, Barry Keoghan, who was in Eternals and stuff like that. He's in everything. But he's in it as well. But it looks really cool. It follows like
Yeah.
a bomber crew. I think it's the 100th bomber something across the European theater of war. It looks really good.
Nice.
That comes out
Nice.
early next year, and I'll definitely be checking that out. I would love to review it on the show, but we'll see how we go.
We'll see how we
All
go.
right, moving away from trailers, over to big news this week. The actors' strike is officially over.
Yay!
A deal has been approved. Yeah,
They finally
got what
did
they
it.
wanted.
They got what they
Over
wanted.
Which was $1 million more, probably.
Oh, $1 billion more, technically. $1 billion worth
Oh,
of
okay.
things that they wanted, including like increased pay for background actors and a bunch of people looking into how to sort out the AI situation. So it seems like
So
everything.
basically, where? We're rich. Now give us more money.
Essentially.
Yeah, but it does. Yeah, but on the bright side,
know,
it means
yeah,
that
I know,
movies are being
yeah.
made again.
Yes.
Lots of movies are being made, and a bunch of those movies got a bunch of information released as soon as the actor strike was up. And the first one is Superman Legacy. They've James Gunn announced
Oh,
a
fuck
release
yes.
date for the film. It's going to come
Yep.
out July 11th in 2025. So we've got to wait 2 and a bit years for
That's
it,
all right. That's all right.
which is fair considering
wait.
it can only get started now. So
Yeah.
you know,
2 and a
that
bit
makes
years,
sense.
Clay. That's like 1 and a bit years, not 2 and a bit years.
Huh?
We're at the end of
You said
2023.
2 and a,
Remember
yeah,
Oh.
you
that.
said 2 and a bit years.
Oh
Can't do
well.
maths, mate.
I don't know what year it is. What are you on about? My God. All right,
What-
but we also
What year
got
is it? Where am I? We're doing a
The
podcast.
year is
We also-
1987.
yes, we also got some Marvel news straight after because Ryan Reynolds
Oh,
has
great.
come out and teased Dogpool.
Dogpool.
Everyone's favorite Deadpool character. It's a dog. It's very ugly looking.
Yes.
and it's
and
dressed
I
like
love it.
Deadpool.
Fuck.
And it's amazing.
Yeah. That was the first piece of news for Deadpool to drop. As soon as the strikes were over, they're like, "Yeah, Dogpool's in it." And also, it's coming out in July of next year, and it's the only MCU film to release next year. Everything else
Yes.
has
Yeah, I
been
heard
pushed
that.
back. So
Yeah.
it'll
Got
be very
delayed, yeah.
interesting.
So basically,
Yeah.
everything is going to be centered on Deadpool 3, hopefully not fucking up.
Hopefully, it's good. There is a couple shows and stuff that's coming out next year as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
for the MCU. But yeah, Deadpool's the main thing. It's the only
the
movie.
main thing is the only movie, so
everyone involved is hoping that it's good.
yes.
All right, moving away from superhero news, over in John Wick, it's getting a bunch more stuff. Its franchise is expanding because John Wick is getting an anime series.
Okay.
No idea.
Guys, stop. Just let it die, bro. Please. Oh my God.
He's getting
That
emotional.
crying sounds genuine. Oh my God. So yeah, it's getting an anime series. No idea what it's about, but it's also getting another live action show that's not connected to the Continental as well. So it's getting 2 more shows.
Okay. And then they're still talking about doing John Wick 5, and you still got the ballerina coming out next year as well. So,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
there's
Yeah,
everything.
so,
They've turned it into the John Wick's cinematic universe now.
I don't get it. They're gonna
And
run out of
who
people to
asks for
kill.
that? Like,
That's no one.
No
okay,
one.
so next
Studio.
up, what happens is
Yeah, the studio.
John Wick visits the RSPCA to save the dogs. So,
I'd watch that.
so no one has
I
to
would
go
watch
through
that,
what John Wick
actually.
did.
I would watch
just a
Keanu
heartfelt
Reeves
movie.
just, like,
It's
helping
like
dogs.
Marley and Me. Yeah.
Oh, no,
It's like
please don't say
Old
it's like
Yeller.
Marley and Me. I'm going to be so depressed if it's like Marley and Me. That's a depressing film. That's more depressing than John Wick.
Oh, all right. Okay, all right. Another movie that's coming out, and this
movie.
is another movie that's in the works from A24 by Mr. Darren Aronofsky, the director behind The Whale and Black Swan. He's directing an Elon Musk biopic. It got announced that that's in the works.
Okay, sure.
I don't
Who
care. It sounds
cares?
like it's gonna be really boring, and I
Yep.
I don't-
Yeah, it probably
Was
will.
it Elon Musk's idea? Is he paying A24
Oh,
to make
definitely.
it?
I definitely would have had
Absolutely.
some say in it.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll just be about all the stuff that he hasn't invented over his life and took credit for anyway. So there you go. Amazing film.
Oh, yeah, but I don't care. That'll come out at some point. We'll see.
Yep.
All right. Moving over, Anthony Daniels, the actor who plays C-3PO in everything Star Wars, has auctioned off almost all of his Star Wars collection, all of his personal belongings, pieces of the Millennium Falcon, bits of sets and props have gone to sale. I know. And you're like, oh my god, I want to buy some of this stuff. It's like, yeah, you can't afford it because guess
Yeah,
what?
definitely
C3PO's head, not even the full costume. C3PO's head
not.
was auctioned off.
$800,000.
$800,000 for his head.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Because I really wanted it. I was in the bids there. I was just like, okay, I'm thinking, $8. I'll throw that in. That's all I've got. That would do it.
That's probably what it cost to make in 1977 when they made it. It was probably like $10.
Yeah, $10, something like that.
That's insane. You could make a Star Wars movie for that price. That's an insane budget.
I wasn't paying attention. What was the price? Sorry.
800,000.
800,000. Yeah.
Jeez, fucking hell, that's a lot.
Just a bit.
Yeah.
Just how much
Yeah, we
Legos
know.
you could buy, Chris?
Oh,
How
God.
much?
I'm like, what?
You could buy 800,000 Lego C3PO heads for that. Like,
Probably, definitely.
There actually are like some really expensive Lego C3POs or something. I think they're like gold chrome plated or something. Anyway, yeah.
Back to the news.
I don't have any.
Thanks.
I don't have any in case you're wondering.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Lego guy. All right, moving
he
away.
does have one. He does have one.
No.
All right, we got some Barbie news as well. We keep going
Some
back to
Barbie?
this film. It's sticking around because
Fucking hell.
that
was
song.
loud.
That's yeah, it's very loud. Barry loves that button.
I love that button.
That song in particular has been nominated for a Grammy. Ryan Gosling's very happy about it. The song was nominated for Best Film Written for a Visual Media. So I reckon it's likely to win. I can't think of anything else.
I mean,
No. Like I watched this
what else
movie
is
again
nominated?
last night, and probably will watch it again tonight.
yeah,
And
see,
it's an amazing film.
it's good.
Does it really
What?
hold up well? Like
Yeah,
on
no,
rewatch?
it holds up. It holds up well. It holds up well.
'Cause
I love it. I
feel
love
like
it even
the
more
cinematic
watching behind the
experience
scenes of it now. I'm
was
just like,
what
yes.
makes it like funny. Well, not makes it funny. I guess I don't know. The cinematic experience is kind of like it puts you in the good mood
Yeah.
to watch it. I feel like
was
it won't
definitely
hold up
better
as
in
well in
cinema.
rewatch.
No, it was better in
Well,
cinema.
yeah.
I rewatched it just
Yeah.
at home on my TV, and I was like, you know what? It wasn't as good as the cinema, but it's still enjoyable. So yeah, whatever. I'm sure that song will win. I can't think of anything else that can compete with it at that level. But who knows? It's the Grammys. Who cares?
We'll see. And it's Ryan
anyway,
Gosling as well.
moving
You
away-
know,
That's true. I wrote that song.
you
and
wrote that
They
song.
put it in. All right, moving away from that. Netflix. Arcane in particular, the League of Legends show that was really good, is one of the best written things I've ever seen, and it's probably like one of the best animated series I've ever seen.
Yep.
It's getting a second season, and it's
About
coming out in
time.
November next year. So we've got to wait a full year.
Yep.
But we're getting more. We're getting a season 2, and I'm beyond excited because, yeah, like I said, the first season of this show was amazing, and I want to see more from this universe, and I want to see more from this particular team. Because it was just good.
It was really cool. Hopefully they don't take forever for season 3.
Oh, I'm sure they will. All right, moving away. We got one final story this week, and it's a wacky one.
I love the
I got
wacky
another
ones.
wacky story. Chris, you're gonna love this. The Empire State
Okay.
Building in New York City. We're all familiar with that building. Yes, it is
Very
like one of
familiar
the
with
most
that building.
popular buildings in the world.
Yep.
Well, an actor, a certain actor
No.
who played
Certain
Morbius
actor we got a class with. Oh.
in the movie. He goes by the name Jared Leto. He climbed the Empire State Building, climbed the entire thing,
Yeah.
just to announce that 30 Seconds from Mars are doing a tour.
Okay.
And his
Just
30
to
seconds of
announce.
fame from that is up.
That he was doing a tour. Okay.
Yeah.
You do you, Jared Leto. You got your cult
What's worse,
going.
Creed touring or 30 Seconds to Mars touring? I really don't know which one is
definitely
worse.
Creed touring. They should both tour together.
Both tour
30
together.
Seconds from Creed.
Why not? 30 seconds
30
from
Seconds
Creed.
from Creed featuring Nickelback.
Oh god, they should all climb different buildings in New York City and play at the top of them, like the Beatles.
Yes.
But it's because it's the Empire State. No one can hear them because they're so far away from it. That'd be ideal. This
That
is the
would be
greatest
pretty
Nickelback
cool.
concert I've ever
Because
been
it's
to. I can't
Creed
hear them.
and 30 No, yeah, I heard about that. That's
Oh man.
fucking wild.
It's
It
very
also doesn't
weird.
seem too out of character for Jared Leto to
No,
do. So
but it doesn't
No.
make sense. What has that got to do with the band? I don't know. Sure.
30 seconds till he falls off the Empire
He was
State
probably
Building after climbing
thinking,
to the
yeah,
top
that
of
it was going to take 30 seconds to climb it, just, because he still believes that it takes 30 seconds to get to Mars.
Well, he's still 30 seconds away from Mars, so who knows? He's perpetually 30 seconds away, so I don't know. Maybe it does take that long. But yeah, that's it for the news this week. We got a whole bunch of weirdness, got a bunch of wackiness, and a bunch of developments in all sorts of things we've been covering for a while. So, with all that said and done, let's move on to the main event, which I'm sure we're all here for.
Oh,
Very-
yes.
Oh, yeah.
The main event of today. Obviously, it's a biggest film of this year. An absolute smash hit. Everyone's going to see it. Absolutely wonderful. I have a quick preview for you guys to listen to this audio for. So let's get into that.
You are not the only thing standing between this and the universe.
Oh my god, we're a team.
Higher,
Further.
faster.
So yes, we went to go and see The Marvels, the newest and latest MCU film. So let me give you a quick plot behind this fantastic movie. Carol Danvers, aka Captain Marvel, has reclaimed her identity from the tyrannical Kree and taken revenge on the Supreme Intelligence. But unintended consequences see Carol shouldering the burden of destabilization of the universe when her duties sent her to the Anomalies wormhole linked to the Kree revolutionary. Her powers become entangled that of a New Jersey or Jersey City super fangirl, Kamala Khan, aka Miss Marvel, and Carol's estranged niece, now Saber astronaut, Captain Monica Rambeau. And obviously, stuff happens in this that was kind of crap, and the only good thing about it is the post-credit scene. So there we go.
Oh boy. So anyway, spoiler warning
Yeah.
for the Marvels, because
Spoiler
we're gonna
warning.
spoil the hell
Everything.
out of this movie.
Everything.
Bada bing. Bada bing, bada boom.
Bada boom.
So yes. Can I kick it off?
You can kick it off, Clayton.
I
I
would
was gonna
love
kick it
to
off
kick
with an
it.
opening joke, but you can kick
Oh,
it off, Clay. It's fine.
I was also gonna do an opening joke. Now it's not gonna work. Chris, do your
You can
opening
both
joke.
have opening jokes.
Okay, Chris, do your opening joke first.
Okay, so the Marvels is an absolutely amazing cinematic experience. I love when Captain Marvel defeats Starman and stops Creed from touring.
Yeah, pretty
Yep,
much.
yep.
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Anytime the word Darben or Darben or whatever the hell was uttered,
I don't know.
it sounded like Darman. It sounded like
Yeah.
Darman.
Yeah, Darben.
Yeah, I don't know, Daft Punk, whoever the
That's
Daft
fucking
Punk.
stupid.
drumstick. I don't know, whoever they're versing. Anyway,
Oh,
yeah,
man.
so higher, further, faster, more like closer, less, and slower. Because this movie has had the worst opening weekend of any MCU film since 2008's Incredible Hulk. And
Oh,
if that's
damn.
not telling you anything, and that's coming from the MCU, the biggest franchise in the world's history, that's saying something. This
That is
movie,
saying something.
oh yeah, this movie is the most unnecessary story ever told. It is an excuse to have 3 actors on screen together. That is it. There is no more substance to this film at all whatsoever. Like Brie Larson has to team up. Brie Larson teams up with that one girl from the MCU show that we all love so much. I actually liked.
Yeah.
And that other lady that was in WandaVision for about 20 minutes. And then they team up and fight Darth Vader or whatever her name was, because she's got a hammer.
Darman.
Yep.
Yeah,
Starman.
I don't know.
Darman with a
Starman.
hammer. Hey,
Starman
what's up,
with a
guys? I
hammer.
hope you like that massage about not taking the atmosphere.
What's up, Darfan? Yeah, this movie. Oh god. Chris, why
It
don't
has
you?
the plot of Spaceballs and the Lorax.
There you go. Yeah, that was great. I
Basically,
turned to you
yeah,
guys.
yeah,
I turned to you at the cinema. I said this movie's just Spaceballs if it wasn't funny. Like.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Chris,
basically, like,
yes.
they're mad because they took the air, I guess. I wasn't really paying attention, I don't know. So basically, that Captain Marvel takes the air and they're like, damn, that kind of sucks. And she's got a big hammer, and I guess that's she's like, rah, I'm gonna kill you now. So this big ass hammer. It's fucking stupid. You know, it's just a boring, sometimes insanely cringeworthy, another shitty Marvel movie with the same humor, plot, same bland score, just everything just bland. But at least this one had a moment that was so insanely cringeworthy. I was actually crying because I was like, no, this is too cringe.
That's true. You did cry in the cinema.
There's a fucking musical number in this movie, guys. Okay.
Yeah. All right, we'll get to it when we get to
Run
it.
for
Barry,
the hills.
Barry, take it away. What are your thoughts on the Marvels?
Oh, yes. So the Marvels. What a tremendous film we all sat down going to see, didn't we, boys? So the whole reason why I went to go and see this film was for the post-credit scene, which we'll talk about later. It's the only redeeming quality of this entire movie.
We should have watched it on YouTube. Oh my
should have
God.
watched it on YouTube. Let's be honest. I already did watch it on YouTube, but then I paid money to buy a ticket to go and see this. Oh man! So let's start at the beginning. First of all, we are introduced to Darbine, played by Zoe Ashton, who is Loki's Tom Hiddleston's wife. Found out. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh,
so she's the villainess.
That's crazy. Yeah.
To this movie, and basically she's your dollar store Ronan, essentially.
Oh my God!
Remember Ronan,
villain.
the accuser? She is literally the worst MCU villain ever. Probably
at
one of the
Ronan
worst
had
villains.
Some cool, at least Ronan had cool moments.
Yeah,
she has
Ronan
no cool
has some really
moments.
cool. She has no cool moments whatsoever.
No.
And that whole beginning introduction scene as well was just like, so this is going to be the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is stupid.
Like I've kind of forgot like all the plot points behind it because I'm just trying to like get it wiped out of my memory. So I can't even like remember anything involving Miss Marvel at all. She was just kind of there in a way,
so
floating in space.
I will say the start of this movie at least had me intrigued for the first 10 minutes, excluding the villain's introduction, because that was the most bland, boring piece of shit I've ever seen. Moving away from that, we kick off with Miss Marvel, who's a character that I actually really love. And I really liked her MCU Disney Plus show. I thought it was interesting, different. Not for everyone, but it was good. I liked what it did. I don't like what they did with her powers, but I love the actor too much that it doesn't bother me now. So I love that it started off with her. We get this really cool animated intro sequence.
That's
which
was
one of like the best parts of the film, because it felt like a comic book.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden they all touch a doorway at the same time, and because it's linked with the bands that Kamala wears, they all switch places when they use their powers, but it only happens sometimes due to plot convenience.
Yes.
Or something.
Yeah.
And then they bump into Nick Fury and a space cat, and then there's Kree warriors. Kamala's mum kicks the crap out of the Kree warriors, and then
basically yells at Nick Fury and calls him Nicholas.
Yeah,
I remember that because he was stuck babysitting the entire movie.
Something else happens, and then they're on the dancing musical planet. And then I don't remember what happened in between that, because then we're at the part where it's Spaceballs. I don't remember anything else. So that's the movie, guys.
That's the movie, guys. That's it, everyone.
Yeah, it's Spaceballs
this is
with dancing.
There's so many parts of this film that was just like so bad, so horribly bad. And that's the thing. Kamala Khan in this movie, and same as the TV show and everything, is probably the only redeeming quality out of all this. It literally should have been a movie about her. It should have been like the Miss Marvel movie, and like Brie Larson's Miss Marvel's like kind of in it.
Oh yeah, that would have been awesome.
And everything like that. But yeah, it's just really weird that we come on the back burner of Secret Invasion, which had the Skrull and the mention of the Creed and everything like that, and then we go into something that's probably even worse than that. And also Nick Fury is like a whole different character again, and he's just stuck babysitting the entire cast, and it's just
if you that's another thing. If you've seen Secret Invasion and you've seen this, the plot makes even less sense. Secret Invasion all of a sudden is more stupid because in this the Skrulls had an entire planet they could have gone to.
Yeah.
That is not mentioned any other point. It is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And then in this, where's Nick Fury's wife? She's not in it. She's never mentioned. And also, why is Nick Fury just like a happy, cheerful dude?
Yeah.
It's never mentioned. It's so stupid because it's like this is supposed to be a big connecting universe and you haven't even watched the thing prior. And it wouldn't surprise me if they didn't know what was happening prior.
Well, this
like
is
the
what
writing
it comes
team.
down to. Yeah. So there is a very big discussion at the moment with good old Kevin Feige being in charge of everything over there at the moment. Basically, because since he wants to keep everything hush-hush for what he's got planned with everything going on, he's actually not telling the writers and directors what other shows and movies are doing.
That doesn't make any sense.
Nope. That makes zero sense. And that's the reason why, basically, majority of their stuff since after Endgame now, besides one thing, which we'll talk about after this podcast, has been in utter, like, it's just bad. The MCU is in a bad state at the moment. This is the thing. This is the 7th film as well after Eternals come out. Yeah. And we still haven't talked about a goddamn giant coming out of the Pacific Ocean or whatever it is.
Every films that I haven't watched then. Nice.
You haven't missed
going
much.
on.
All right, let's take a step back and look at our 3 main characters. I'm curious to see
characters.
What Chris thought about these 3 main characters, because I don't think you knew anything about any of them, really.
No. So, in case, full disclosure, everybody, I knew this movie was going to suck donkey nuts. But anyway, because I wanted to get another rant episode out after I trashed Indiana Jones in the last podcast because I actually care about that character. These 3 characters I did not care about at all. So we've got.
Do you remember their names? Yes.
Captain Marvel. So I remember her because I didn't like her in Endgame, which is like, I think you have something for me. when Spider-Man has the gauntlet. So that's my first impressions of that fucking character. And she can fly, I guess.
Yep. She can fly.
Stuff.
Yeah,
and it's just very last.
She's got light powers. Yeah.
Yeah, light powers. Sadly, she didn't have any movie ending powers. And then we've got Monica. That's Monica. She has powers because she walks through a hexagon. And
pretty much.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Then we've got Miss Marvel, who has a fucking shrine dedicated to Captain Marvel.
Yep.
And she basically spends the entire movie going, "Oh my god, we're a team."
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's her character. And then she kind of has a Suki Lala when things don't work out. But they're a team, so it's okay.
It's fine.
And then the movie's over, and I tried to walk out, think of it the halfway point when they started fucking singing. So there you go.
You did try and walk out and we stopped you. That's right. Barry, I'm curious what you thought about our 3 main characters. Coming from a comic book reader like yourself, what do you think they did?
Yeah. If I'm coming from the comic books, I'm just like, can we get rid of these characters? Let's get rid of them. Let's very much get rid of them. Because that's the thing. Captain Marvel in the comics, even Harold Danvers, Captain Marvel, because there obviously was a different Captain Marvel originally, and then they did it. So there's Carol Danvers. So many, and everything like that. She's actually like really great in the comics. Yeah. She is one of the best like Marvel characters in the comic book lines. A lot of her story arcs and everything like that are actually really cool. She does kill it.
Really?
And then like in the movies, and every time we see her character, I'm just like, I don't want to see you on screen. Like it's just so bad. And then obviously like in the movie as well, like I don't know, like there's just something not working with this character. It hasn't worked since they introduced her. I'm just I think they're coming out with that character in the wrong way. Personally, even from the get-go. And now, even as well, if you watch interviews with Brie Larson, she's even over the character. She's just like, get me out of here type thing. I want to do my own stuff.
Yeah.
So, understandable. And then, obviously you got Monica Rambeau's character, which I don't really know much about her comic book character too much. I know she's just kind of around. She doesn't really do much. No. And then, her character's just like...
What does she even do in the comics? Like, what is
not much.
What is she doing?
Not much at all.
Yeah, basically, all of these characters are done so much better in the comics. Captain
Oh,
Marvel, like
yes.
you said, is insanely good. She basically leads the charge of like the cosmic heroes. She was
Yeah.
doing Guardians of the Galaxy decades before Guardians of the Galaxy was a thing.
Yep.
She's one of the most powerful female characters in the entire universe. One of the most powerful characters. And so having her come into the movies and be one of the most boring characters in the MCU really hurts because
Yeah.
this character can be done really well. I mean, she's
Yep.
like a Superman level cosmic being, but she's got no kryptonite or anything. She's just kind of the most boring person. And she's gone up against the
Yeah.
most boring villains as well. It's like there's
Yeah, they're not
nothing
putting up her against anyone
there.
cool.
If she was up against I
Honestly,
liked yeah, that's the thing, is I liked her in Infinity War no, sorry, in Endgame because she was fighting Thanos, and Thanos was kicking her
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
And it was like, it's fun to see these powerful characters get humbled like that, because that means they have to go beyond and you know, become better versions of themselves. But then in her solo movies, it's the opposite. You're versing no-names that no one's ever heard of that don't put up a fight. And there's
Yeah.
nothing there. There's no substance. The same with Ms. Marvel, who is even better in the comics. She's amazing. She's one of my
Yep.
favorite newest additions to Marvel, up with like Miles Morales.
Oh, yeah.
They're
They're
both
the
from
only
like
like
similar era.
yeah, they're only like good
Yeah,
new additions to Marvel in like the recent
yeah.
20 years since they've been introduced.
Oh yeah, yeah, and her character in the comics gets tested constantly. She gets thrown through it, gets beaten down so much, and it's kind of that Spider-Man mentality of always getting up, always doing the better thing that makes her so interesting, as well as being a unique character. Of course, she's Pakistani, so we get like that side of it as well. But it's again thrown to wayside. It doesn't
Yep.
matter. None of
Yep.
it. No one cares. It's so stupid. And then Monica, who's been like 30 different superheroes in the Marvel comics. She was Captain Marvel for a while. She was Photon, Spectrum, Pulsar, and 100
A
billion
lot
other
of
names,
things.
but
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. She's, you know, she's there. So yeah, this movie sucks butt because it did some of my favorite characters really badly.
Yeah. Yeah. It did a lot of the characters really
Yeah,
badly.
that's your
Yeah, and
comic
that's the thing.
rundown.
That's the comic rundown.
That's
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Yeah, because the only like thing I did enjoy about it was like Kamala Khan's character in this movie. Like she did
yeah,
bring enjoyment to it, and you can actually see like the actress even as well. She was just like having fun with it all a bit, and I
and yeah,
think
that's
that's
just
like
the
that
performance.
suits. Yeah, that
Yeah.
suits like her role even from the show and everything like that.
Mhm.
Like she hasn't changed at all, which is kind of great. She's just going with the flow of things and being like, I'm like with my like number one fangirl crush type thing and finally get to meet my hero. And this is another thing as well, because apparently like you could very much tell this movie was very heavily edited. And I think there is like a few
Yeah.
scenes that they didn't continue doing just because of budget constraints or stuff like that. Because like there's a whole scene where like the Skrull homeworld, which or whatever place they were at, which doesn't get mentioned at all in the show. Or anything like that. But obviously we do see it gets destroyed in this movie. And like Captain Marvel is very much to him like, oh, we can only protect the people that we've got. You have to let the rest of others die, otherwise everyone else is gonna die type thing. It's like that was kind of like a really cool scene, and then they just don't touch on that whatsoever afterwards.
No, it's
They're
never
just
talked
chilling
about
in
again.
their plane, like practicing afterwards or anything like that. And I thought it would have been a really cool thing to see like Kamala's character being like
Yeah.
idolizing this hero essentially, and then seeing that happen, basically her mentor, her person she looks at, her hero, being like, no,
Mhm.
we can't save everyone. These people are going to have to die. And that was
Yeah,
going to
that
be
could
like
have
a whole
been
subplot type thing. But no, they didn't do
so
any of
good.
that.
No, that
So
would have been amazing because
that would have
that
been
would that
amazing.
would. Can you like imagine that instead of this confrontation between the team? Because the team is throughout this whole thing is so happy-go-lucky,
Yeah.
yada yada. We're a team. We're all best friends, and we've never met each other, yada yada. No conflict in the team. The
Nope.
best teams of super-powered beings are the ones that
Yeah.
don't quite work well together. I mean, look at
No.
the Avengers. The first movie, they hated each other. Look
Oh
at the
yeah.
X-Men. They're always fighting.
Yep.
And then you get
And
this
that's the
team. It's
thing.
like, man,
Look,
there's
look at
nothing.
the Guardians as well. Like the first
Yeah,
Guardians movie,
same thing.
literally the entire film, they are trying to like just kill one another and punch each other up.
Yeah, so can you imagine Miss Marvel being like to Captain Marvel, like, you can't do this. This is
Yeah.
wrong. We have to try harder to save these people. and think about things, and her being that voice of reason would immediately improve all of the character arcs
Yeah.
because then there would be character arcs.
Yes,
there is
which
no
we didn't
character
see.
arcs.
We did not see any at all.
Oh, Chris, I'm very curious. If you were writing this movie, what direction would you take with it? How would you tell this story?
Well, I'm not a writer, and I know nothing about these fucking characters. So the ideas I have are probably going to be really stupid.
That's
But
why I'm
you know what?
asking. No,
Screw
no,
it.
no.
I'm
Just go for it.
may as well just make this a giant piss take. So basically, if I was writing this movie, Captain Marvel steals all the air in the entire world, and then I don't know. Like, I don't know what direction these characters take. Have them go through something that, give them development.
Yes.
Stop making Ms. Marvel be such a, like, oh my god, you're so amazing. Oh my god, Captain Marvel, you can do no wrong. Here, let me dedicate a shrine to you. And be like,
Yeah.
hey, wait a minute. No, that's bad. You are going to let these people die. Can we,
Yeah.
not do that? Because, like, in the movie, there's a part where everyone's fucking dying, and Captain Marvel's like, we can't save everyone, just fuck them, I guess.
Yeah,
And then they fly away.
essentially. Yep.
And they
Yeah.
fucking go to the musical planet and they start having a fucking dance off. It's like, what?
Oh.
Where's Miss Marvel saying no?
Yeah,
this is
what
wrong.
was like?
You need to
There was no
stop.
reason to have that scene whatsoever
that?
in this movie.
I hate
That was just
It
like
made me
a
want to-
whole like Disney princess like thing
It was awful,
going
and not
on.
only that,
They even had like
it's
2D
like-
graphics when she changed dress. That was just so
It's
bad.
like- and it's also like Kevin Feige, whatever the fuck, however you say this guy's name, knew that, like, or whoever was writing it knew that, and it's like, yes, make the audience suffer,
Yeah.
because immediately after Mr. BTS finishes his musical number, he says, "Oh, by the way, I can actually talk in English," and there's no reason for that musical.
He's
talent.
bilingual.
Like-
I laughed
Yeah.
I laughed so much.
I'm
at that. It
bilingual.
was so
It's like-
bad.
And you
It's
didn't
okay,
think
he's
to ask him
bilingual.
that before? Then why
Oh,
didn't
it
you
was
do
so
that
stupid.
before? And why did you make us suffer through one of the worst musical sequences I've ever seen
Yeah.
ever? And I don't
Yep.
like musicals, but this just felt so out of place. And in a movie that
Oh,
feels
yeah.
like, I don't know, kind of feels a bit rushed. No, it's very boring, actually.
You know what? You know
In a
what would have
movie that
been
has-
even funnier if they did on the musical planet is if during the like fight scene where everyone's getting killed, they were still singing. Like they're like they're getting stabbed.
That
and
would have
they're dying
somewhat
and they're
improved
singing
it.
about
That would have somewhat
because
improved
that would
it.
have been if you're gonna do goofy
Funny.
shit, at least like go
Yeah.
all out on the
Yeah.
goofy
Yeah.
shit.
But,
But
like,
yeah,
as I
you
was
jump
saying
around.
before,
It's so bad.
It's so
it was
bad.
so pointless. Just remove it, please, and have some more, like, that scene could have had some more character development. But instead,
Yep.
no, musical number. Here's
No.
BTS and Captain Marvel singing. So thanks
Yep.
for that, I
Yep.
guess.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that
Oh.
just because, I'm not making the BTS joke just because, he's Asian. Like, it's just a joke. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's the first thing that came to my mind where I was like, I said to Clay in the theater, oh my god, it's BTS. It's like,
think
it's
it
that sort of
is-
like,
That joke isn't far off because that actor
Yeah.
is actually good friends with a couple of members of BTS, so it's not
Oh,
See,
okay.
there
That
you
makes
go.
sense. There we go. There we go.
that far away.
But basically, from
But-
the dancing and all the singing and everything, like the movie ends on a very unclimactic
happens then?
ending. Basically,
I laugh.
Panda, whatever. I forget her fucking
Darth-
name.
Darth
Darth-
Vader.
Darth-
Darth Vader opens up
can I
a
explain it?
Oh yeah, let
rift
Chris
in the
explain it.
space time continue. Yeah, go, Chris.
So,
You explain that.
basically, Darman's like, I'm gonna kill you now, and they get fucking impaled with with a part of the wall or something, and then Captain Marvel's like, oh my god,
Oh, that's
or
right.
someone, I can't remember, one of the characters like, oh my god, let's not have that happen,
Yep.
and so they're like, here, we'll save you and your planet, and then Darman's like, hey, what's up, Darman fam, thanks for saving me, but fuck you guys, bye, and so they just kind of dip, and then they just
Yep.
shatter into pieces. And Darman's YouTube channel
Yeah.
shuts down, and then after that, Monica the Hex Power Girl, goes into this thing, or no, the world's ending or something, the sky's breaking or something, I fucking remember. And basically, it's like, oh shit, gotta fix it. And so they fix it, and she dies, L. And it was so not serious that the people sitting in front of us in the theater, were audibly laughing. I could hear them laughing many points through the movie, and that
Yeah.
was one of those points. And it was not
Yeah.
supposed
Yeah.
to be funny, but
Nope.
it was fucking hilarious.
It was meant
just
to be
funny.
like this moment of like sacrificing her life type thing to save everyone, and it was
Yeah,
just like it
but
was
there's
just so
no
bad.
development. There's no
No,
build up to
No.
that moment where we would give a shit. For all we
No.
know, all that Monica does is shape shift, will switch characters a bunch of times because she walked into a hexagon. Now she has powers. That's it.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't care
Oh, and don't
about
forget about
pretty much.
the cats vacuum cleaning
Oh,
people.
yeah.
That
was
wonderful
cats.
scene.
The cats are in this movie too, and
The
for about
cats.
95% of the time the cats are on screen, they're not real, and they're very clearly CGI. I
All
mean,
of
to
the
be
time.
fair,
All the
None
time.
of those cats were real.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
all CGI. There is no real cats in this movie.
Yeah, no real cats. And then obviously
afford
the
one, I
big
guess, yeah.
ending scene is that Monica is in a new universe, which is the X-Men
Oh.
universe, because we finally see the whole reason why I saw this movie is we saw Beast.
Yes. Before we talk about that, can I talk about that final scene as well? I didn't get to put my 2 cents into that.
You can talk about the final scene.
I have some words about that. First of all, the cats eating everyone was the stupidest thing ever because when they all get out, only about 10 people are rescued from the cats, so everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
And also, the villain killing themselves after already winning, taking the sun through a portal and then opening another portal to kill themselves, which was unnecessary. Like why? That doesn't make sense. And then Monica closing the portal, but she has to do it from the inside. Doesn't make
Yep.
sense either. She could have done it from this side.
Yep.
The whole setup to the final scene, it was the most bullshit thing I've ever. It's so unnecessary.
Oh yeah.
But we got this after credit scene, so I'm just willing to forget this movie existed and pretend that this 2-second scene was the entire film.
That's
which you could
that's
have watched on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have.
Which we should have watched on
should've.
YouTube. But it was really funny because Monica wakes up in the X Mansion and there's a big blue guy there, and it was really funny because in the cinema, me and Barry looked at each other and we're like, "Oh my god, it's Kelsey Grammer, it's Beast!" And then Chris turns to us and goes,
Like,
"Who the
who's
fuck
that?
is that?" Like, dude.
Alright, that proves to you I really don't know anything about these characters, and I just came to see the movie just so I could shit on it for bad storytelling, writing, acting, and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. Well, with that, Chris, do you want to give us your final thoughts and rating on this film?
This movie sucked. I went in knowing it was going to suck. I had a fun time shitting on it, but I really think there should be more Darman in there. Quite disappointed. Really did expect more from the villain. Just kidding. The villain was boring from the start. I really don't care. It's hard to rate a movie like this because, anyone outside of listening to this, they're not going to take my opinion seriously. I'm just a professional hater, basically. I'm shitting on a movie I knew was going to suck. I don't care about any of these characters. I haven't watched any MCU movies properly since Endgame and No Way Home, except I kind of count those as Spider-Man movies. So I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, this movie was boring. It was bad, and I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. And that's being generous. And that's only because the theater experience was awesome. Because I had so much fun shitting on the movie the entire time that I just have to bump it up a little bit. It's a fun movie to watch if you get drunk with your friends. After maybe about 20
and we should have been drunk.
tolerate
We should have been heavily drunk while watching this. I would have enjoyed it more.
Oh, okay.
Barry
What about
almost
you, Barry?
fell through all his popcorn after 10 minutes of the movie.
Basically. So basically I was greatly disappointed in this film. I think everyone going to see it is, like I said, no one's actually going to see this film by the looks of it. It's probably going to be their one of the biggest flops ever. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, the whole reason why I went to go and see this film was because of the end credit scene, because I did know about it beforehand. And this is what even more upsetting about it is that could have been an actual story device for this film to make it even better. It could have been an actual story device about the multiverse ripping up, and we actually had Beast introduced halfway through this film, and had the X-Men or some of the X-Men or something like that universe played throughout it.
Help.
That could have been a really cool film. That's how we should have introduced the X-Men. And we shouldn't have gotten this crappy film, if I'm being honest. And they could have done it more about Miss Marvel's character from her perspective of things and followed her. That would have been even better. But everything that we got was just bad. Literally, I do not want to watch this film again. I am going to delete it from my memory. I'm gonna get a lobotomy after this. We're watching this film now. Like this movie was
Felt
just
like a
bad,
lobotomy.
especially when we're about to talk about one of Marvel's best things they've ever done, and they've released this crap. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 10.
Oh boy. Oh man. Yeah, this movie. Like it was fun to laugh at when you're was with friends. The movie itself. Oh god, it's god awful. The writing is terrible. This has taken some beloved characters and done absolute travesties to them. This is awful.
Yeah.
I don't know how they made like the most boring MCU character more boring and given
Yep.
us the worst villain we've ever seen and ruined like all of these amazing comic book characters in just the most boring of ways. Nothing happens in this movie. There is no plot development. There's no character arcs. There is nothing. This movie is just an excuse to say the X-Men are in it.
Yep.
That's how
Yep.
they're trying to sell this. All of the marketing has been, oh my god, check out that post-credit scene. Did you see that post-credit scene? Well, the post-credit scene. And it's like, okay, what about the movie you were making? What
Yep.
about the hundreds of millions of dollars you put into this thing? And it's like, it's god awful. Spaceballs did this movie better. Spaceballs had better character arcs
Yes.
than
It
the
did.
Marvels. Right? Like, come
Baseballs
on.
is fucking great.
Spaceballs is one of my favorite movies ever. And there was so much potential with these characters and the cosmic side of the MCU. There always is. They had to focus more on the travesty of causing an entire civilization to go extinct through an accident. Like, and the toll that took on someone, rather than the toll of not visiting her sort of niece because she was off in space saving. It was so stupid. And Miss Marvel being relegated to the comedy, even though her performance was so good. Like, it really sucks that her character is being delegated to just the comic character in a Miss Marvel movie.
Yeah.
So I'm giving this film a 2 out of 10. Just
Damn.
because I
Damn. You guys,
it could have been so much better. It's so disappointing.
That's the thing. Like the whole
So
reason behind this
bland.
film, and I think the reason why people are going to see it is because of that post-credit scene. And that's
Yeah.
the sad thing with reality with this film. They literally made an entire film, spent God knows how much money on this crap, and just for one post-credit scene that could have been so much more better done in general as well. Like that could have been a plot of the film.
Man. Yes, this is the worst superhero movie of the year.
fucking quiet.
Yeah.
I thought about it. I was like, is it worse than The Flash? And I'm like, yes, it is. Because at least The Flash tried to do some things different. At least The Flash was like, I'm going to take some risks. They were terrible risks, and they were just like the most awful risks, but they were risks.
Yeah.
Whereas the Marvels is somehow even more generic and bland than the most generic and bland, boring thing we can ever find.
Yeah.
Like, this was written by an AI bot from about 20 years ago.
Yep.
This is like if you took every bland thing in the MCU, smashed it together, and then put an X-Men cameo on the end.
Yeah.
I don't know how you can write something this bad unless you're trying to write something this bad. Like, where? Let's stop talking about
Yeah.
this movie.
Let's stop talking about this film and
Yeah.
move on to one of the best things that
Oh,
have come out
boy.
of Marvel or the MCU, I suppose.
this is
So
where I
we
disappear.
go. You can
Yeah.
disappear if
I-
you want.
Yes,
See
Shall
Lego
we
films?
say
yeah.
goodbye
Thanks
to our
for,
guest?
thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah.
We'll have you again anytime we need a good rant about
thank you.
stuff. Anytime we're going
I'm
to see
so
another bad
disappointed.
film.
My score is higher than any of your guys because I
Yeah.
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 makes it look like
See,
I
he
actually
did like it more, Clayton. He did like it more than us. You said that
True.
yesterday.
I only
That's
rated
true.
it a 4 because I laughed so many times during the movie. It's like one of those movies where if you're watching it with friends, it's a hilarious time, and it's based off that only. The actual movie itself, it's like a 1 for me. I don't care about the characters, I don't care about the story, I don't care about anything. But the
Should I
movie was
change
funny
your-
because
Okay.
I was laughing.
We can
at it.
change it. You can change the score if you want.
Yes,
Chris.
a real official score is like
Yeah.
a 2. Like the real
Okay.
official score is 2.
Yeah, cool.
But it's only a
make it-
4
alright.
because it was funny as hell to watch.
Yeah.
So should I make your score 2? I'm gonna put it out on
Yes.
promotional things. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Change it to a 2.
Yeah,
Change it to a 2.
I don't want people. I don't want people thinking I like this movie. Hell no.
No, none of us like this
Oh,
movie.
all right,
And I think everyone
well-
going to watch the film. It's not like in this
Okay,
film.
I'm
So
off now, guys.
thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks for
have you
having
again
me.
sometime
I
soon.
very much
Yeah.
enjoyed shitting on the movie. If there's
Yeah,
any bad
yeah.
movies coming out, I'll go and see them just to trash them.
Nice,
Okay,
nice,
Chris.
nice.
Thank you guys. All right,
ya.
thank you, Chris, for joining us. Check out his YouTube channel, See Lego Films, posting a bunch of YouTube stop motion animations, all sorts of comedy skits, sketches, and short films on there. Check him out. He does some really cool stuff. But yeah, we'll move on to this second part of today's episode. Hey, Barry.
And who dies? Make the hard choice. It's him.
You better run!
War is on its way. Come on, you're the god of mischief. Always have been. Always will be.
So yes, we are finally at the final episode of Loki season 2. And oh my gosh, this was absolutely amazing. So let me tell you a little bit of the plotline for this week's final episode. Upon controlling his newfound time-slipping ability, Loki must find a way to prevent the temporal loom from destroying the TVA, while grappling with the consequences of a branching sacred timeline and his own glorious purpose in the multiverse. So yes, this kind of wraps up all the past 2 seasons, what they've been doing with Loki's character and just about everything. And I am going to have to say right now, just a round of applause to the people that have made this show, who have written this show, who are the directors and all the actors behind it, because this has literally been one of the best things Marvel has ever produced. And also one of the best superhero from comics to actually live action shows or anything that's ever been done. How much emotion, how much talent has been put in behind this show, the first and second season, especially the second season so much, is absolutely amazing to watch this. It has been an absolutely amazing time to watch. I put this as being one of the best shows potentially ever made. Just because of the writing alone.
Yeah,
it's so well done. So well done.
Yes.
So
It
did you want to
definitely is.
say your word
Sure.
about it, Clayton?
Yes. Though it definitely is the best MCU Marvel show, and it's up there with the best of Marvel shows. Because this show is very different to everything else. I mean, it's not pulling from any distinct comic, right? It's taking elements from different things.
Yep.
Taking the Loki we know, it's taking elements from comics nobody's ever read, like the TVA, stuff like that, and the Kang things, and there's all of this amazingly unique stuff to the MCU, and putting it together in a way that tells this really emotional, gripping story, and it's a story that you want to stick with and find out what happens next, because every episode of this show, season 1 and 2 included, is amazing. It's so well written, and it hooks you the whole way through, because you don't know what's going to happen at any point in this show, which is just so hard to do with a comic book thing, because everybody's read this story before, right? We know these characters, we know the villains, we know what they're capable of, right? There's 70 years of Marvel history that they pull from.
Yes.
And yet they've come along and done something different. Something unique, something completely different, and it was really great to see. The performances carry the show as well. Considering it's fairly low budget for a Marvel thing, about 100 mil for this
100
season.
mil. Yep.
And most of that is like the actor's salary, because you got like Owen Wilson, Tom Hiddleston, a bunch of other people, Jonathan Majors just killing it in this role. But that brings us to the final episode. As always, we've talked about every other episode of this season on the podcast. Check out our previous episodes to see our thoughts on those. But this finale, Barry, give us the rundown.
So basically we come off the end of last week's episode where basically Loki now controls time himself. He's literally become he's become the DeLorean.
He's Doctor Who,
He's Doctor Who. He's become Doctor Who. And yeah, this is a whole new approach to things that I was honestly not expecting them to do things in this show or this final episode at all. Okay, so basically we come off, he's basically realized that he can control the time slipping powers and everything like that. And then he's just like, all right, let's find a way to fix everything so the thing doesn't explode. So for how many times, and I predicted this last week's episode that he was gonna try and go again and again and again, trying to fix the time loom from destroying the TVA and everything like that. And he does this for potentially thousands of years. Because centuries later, it goes to this whole thing and everything like that. He learns how to become like even smarter than OB and like Victor Timely and everything like that. So he knows everything about the TVA and stuff like that. And then they do have a sequence of it all goes correctly and Victor gets to the edge of the platform, sends the harpoon over. But still, at the end of the day, it's not going to work because it's infinite timelines coming through and it's just going bigger and bigger and bigger. And then Loki's just like, what do I can't do anything type thing. And then he gets kind of stuck. And then this is where it gets a bit trippy and timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff. And something I wasn't expecting them to do. He goes back to the end of season 1. This is why this is so amazing. And he has a conversation with He Who Not Remains again, trying to basically get him from not dying. Because that's basically the singularity of where it happens. So we can talk about that for a little bit before we move on.
Yeah.
Because that was absolutely amazing.
The man at the end of time, Jonathan Majors. This is his best performance as Kang in this episode.
Yes.
Which is insane because all of his performances as Kang has been the best part of the thing that he's Kang in. He was the only good part of Ant-Man. You know, it was the best part of the finale of Loki season 1. And then seeing it here where he's somehow even more menacing and more threatening in the same role is insane. It makes you think like the whole plot of the first season of Loki doesn't actually matter because he knew how everything was going to go down.
Yeah.
He knew the script past the script. It was so crazy when he's just like, and just erases Sylvie from time, freezes it, and he's like, what are you going to do now, Loki? You know, I know exactly what you're going to say. And it's like, he knew this all along. It was an insane reveal. And it's something the MCU hasn't gotten away with since like Endgame with that good of an ending.
Yeah.
Because obviously Loki figures out how to control his time travel here. And he's like, you know what? I'm not going to listen to you. I know how to fix things. I know how to do this. And Kang knows that he knows how to do this. Because there's only really one way that he can, I guess, keep everything from being destroyed, and that's to let the multiverse kind of go free, but he has to ring it in. So basically, he goes back to the TVA, to that moment, and walks out onto the catwalk, gets a really cool new outfit as everything's falling apart, spaghettifying. All his friends are so confused as to what's going on. Because they don't know that this dude spent literal centuries trying to fix things.
Everything,
and he doesn't even really say anything to them. He's like, I know what I need to do. You know, this is my glorious purpose. See you guys. Walks out, he destroys the loom that basically funnels the realities together into one or two couple, because the loom overloading is what's splitting apart realities. So he destroys it, letting the multiverse run free. Allowing infinite branches to expand infinitely. But in doing so, he grabs those branches. He uses his Loki magic, collects all of the branches before walking out into like a place beyond space and time, sitting where Kang sat at the end of time, and then forms the multiversal branches into some kind of tree of life, like Yggdrasil. Sealing his fate as like the god of stories. God of all time, Loki.
And it's just like, it's such an amazing thing because obviously, this is a very much play on the new Loki comics that have come out in recent years where they've tried to make Loki a good guy and everything like that. And that's the thing. I was kind of expecting them to do this in some form of way, but not in the way they actually showed it. Because in the comics, basically, it's like an older version of Loki goes back into a younger version of Loki. type thing, but has all the knowledge and everything like that of being Loki. And he's like, all right, I'm going to go about my life being a good guy. And so as a young version and stuff like that, he ends up being like a good guy because he just wants to be good this time around. But then when he comes to the end of time, he actually sees the like an older version of himself, like real old and withered and everything like that, at the edge of time and everything like that, controlling everything. And yeah, basically stuff happens from there, reboots all again, yada 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 stuff, and then he becomes like the Avenger Prime or Prime Avenger or something like that, and he's the guy that actually goes around to all the worlds to recruit all the Avengers to go up against Battle World and stuff like that, to defeat Doom and Secret Wars and all stuff like that. So this is where it's all setting up for this.
Yep. I see where you're going. Where it's going now.
Yeah, but before we get to that end part as well, so basically he has the conversation with Jonathan Majors' Kang variant, which we saw in the first season, which it literally is terrifying, this variant, because he knew all this was going to happen. The TVA was going to explode. He knew everything. And it was just the biggest ruse, with the end of season 1 being like, oh no, I'm out of the script type thing. But he's like, oh no, I actually know more type thing. I don't like fucking around with you type thing, which was great. Because then he obviously there's only really a couple ways that he could go about doing all this. And one of them is killing Sylvie. And which he kind of doesn't want to do. And he refuses to. So he actually goes back and has a little conversation with Mobius from the first episode of season 1, where they first meet one another, which I thought was a really nice little conversation. And they actually talk about Mobius's life and everything like that. And then he goes back and meets Sylvie again. And then he's talking to Sylvie, being like, hey, the only way I can really stop this is to kill you, so Kang sits on the throne, so none of this happens. And then, towards the end of that, he finally realizes what his purpose is in life. Because that's the big motive, I suppose, this past, like, 2 seasons. We've seen the Loki character change and everything like that.
The whole MCU, that's kind of been his thing. It's finding his purpose.
Yes,
in the Loki character. Both Loki characters, because we've had 2.
And then, basically he knows what he has to do. So he sacrifices his little existence to become the guy that controls all of time now. He's the guy in charge of it all, holding it all together. So none of the implosion stuff will go all wacky and everything like that. He's trying to keep it together, which is a very big thing to do for Loki's character. You know, like we saw him being like this control freak, like always self-centered type thing ever since the first Thor film, and then coming to this major arc that we saw. And this is the cool thing as well. We've got to see this twice with this character now, because we obviously saw him in Thor Ragnarok and everything. Like he had a different motive going that way after the events of Avengers and stuff like that, of what happened, like his mum dying and everything like that. And then like with the show, because it picks up obviously like at the end of Avengers, because he's a variant of that timeline, they have this whole new set of sequences again. It's a whole different timeline. And it's been amazing to really see that, like 2 different takes on this one character, done by the same actor, mind you. And he literally sacrifices his entire existence to sit on a throne at the end of the world, end of time, so everyone, all his friends, everyone will be safe. That's what he sacrificed for, because he doesn't want them to die. And he found his purpose doing that.
Oh boy. This show is just amazing. And the one thing I love so much about this show is it doesn't rely on the cheap cameo sort of thing. If we took the Beast cameo out of the Marvels, there's no movie there, right? There's no reason to see it. There's no marketing. There's no, oh my God, check out this. But with the Loki show, it doesn't have any of that, right? It's very much its own thing. But it's also so big enough, and the stakes are so big that it ties into everything else just because of that. It's like he's holding all of the threads of reality together at the end of this movie, which ties into literally everything, but there's no names thrown out. There's no other characters that show up.
Nothing.
For this God no reasons. And I'm so glad they didn't do that, because that takes away from this character and the character arc that the story and the character's going through. Because Loki has quickly become one of the MCU's best characters because of this show. He's the only villain that's gotten a show. He's the only villain that's been redeemed and become a hero in the MCU. So having him go through 2 major character arcs in the MCU's lifetime, and both of them being really good is very impressive. And that's just mostly due to Tom Hiddleston's amazing performance as the character,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
and also due to the writing around it. Because
Yeah.
whoever's writing this show should have been writing the Marvels.
Oh yeah,
Because
whoever's like writing this show,
Yeah.
in charge of this show, should be basically like directing all the new stuff that's coming out, like Secret Wars, Kang Dynasty,
Oh yeah,
everything like that. All the multiversal stuff they're doing
definitely.
now. These people should be in charge because of how well they've done with this show, keeping everything together.
Yep.
And this is what we were talking about even yesterday. After we watched the episode, you and I talked a little bit. It's very much reminiscent of those times when David Tennant and Matt Smith were Doctor Who, essentially. Like it's
Yes.
on that type of level. And
Yeah,
that's pretty phenomenal.
It definitely feels like a finale of Doctor Who.
Yeah, yeah.
The end of every Doctor Who actor's run has him sacrificing himself in some way to save
Yeah.
time or the universe, yada yada. He's got to sit around and there's a bunch of lights or whatever. It
Yep.
feels very much like that. But of course, there's no regeneration. Like, this is a final thing.
Yes.
He's stuck in that chair forever, holding the threads of reality together.
At the moment.
At the moment, and they will probably change that and bring
Yeah,
him back
yeah.
in some way, keeping him as some sort of maestro for Secret Wars or whatever they do.
Yep. Yep.
But no, as of this show, this is it. There is no plans for a third season.
No.
They always
no.
kind of planned it as two halves of the same book.
Yep.
Which is awesome. Everything needs an ending in mind, and
Yes.
characters need that as well, because a
Yep.
character arc is only as good as its ending. Which is why I love this show so much, because it ends definitively and it ends better than it starts. It's the only
Yes,
MCU show where
yes.
the ending is better than the start.
Yeah. yeah.
Every single MCU show has sucked more and more towards the end. But yes, that's Loki.
That is Loki.
It's so good.
Yeah.
So
That's the
good.
thing. If I have to
Oh, man.
recommend like anything now with how people, I literally want to make like a new list of things for like people like I like watch things for all the Marvel stuff now. I basically say to people, be like, okay, watch all the way up to Endgame type thing, like watch everything up to that, and then the only films you should probably watch after that is Guardians 3 and No Way Home. You know, the Spider-Man
Eternals?
stuff. If
I like Eternals. liked
and then the
Eternals.
only show like I honestly do recommend is Loki and Moon Knight. You know, the ones that have been a bit off
Yeah.
put and a bit wackier than all the other stuff, and
Different.
especially Loki now. Because I have a feeling. Cool, that's the thing. Because Owen Wilson apparently is in Deadpool 3.
Apparently. We don't know
Apparently, we don't know yet. It's not 100% confirmed.
yet. Rumors.
Rumors.
Everyone's in Deadpool 3, so who knows?
Everyone's in Deadpool 3.
It would
It
make a
would
little
make
bit of
sense because of the timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly stuff they're doing in Deadpool 3, which they already had on
But
set
then
designs and stuff like that.
Also, like, it doesn't need that at all. I mean, look at Captain
No.
Marvel. That did the X-Men.
Yep.
Through a different way.
Yep.
So it could be done in any number of
Yeah,
ways
yeah.
if they want.
But that's the thing. At the end of the day, this show has been absolutely phenomenal. Just the whole arc of Loki's character and the performance done by Tom Hiddleston. He will go down as like, you know how a lot of people say like Robert Downey Jr. is the only one that can be Iron Man. He is literally the only person that he is Loki. He is definitively Loki. And it was just amazing to see everyone in this and the performance behind it. Just even Owen Wilson as Mobius in this and everything like that. He absolutely kills it as his character.
So good.
And same thing as Jonathan Majors or his variants and stuff like that. Victor Timely, and then so menacing, and then so great when he's like playing Victor Timely, like a real nice guy and everything like that.
Yeah.
And it's because obviously with the court case that's all about to go happen soon, apparently, and that could decide the very fate of what's happening with Marvel with the decision of those court cases. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, he has given a tremendous performance as the Kang character, and I really want to see more of it, especially when it can be done like this, because this has been absolutely amazing. And then, obviously the actress that played Sylvie, Casey, just everyone in this show has done an amazing job, and just like can't get enough of the writing, the dialogue, the directors, and how they've just done everything for this show. You can tell there's been a lot of heart put into this show. There's been a lot of just everything. Everyone gave it their A game to it, and that's the thing. This is only done on a $100 million budget as well, and the visual effects were absolutely amazing. It didn't feel out of place, or it didn't feel cheap. Spot on.
No, the entire time. There wasn't one moment of bad CGI. or
Yeah,
an
yeah.
off-putting scene.
Yeah.
Everything looked great, and
Everything
so
did look
good
great.
to see, so refreshing to see.
Yeah.
Something
And
that
that's the
looks
thing.
so
It
clean.
had such like a nice ending to it as well. In a way, even though it was sad and everything
in
like
its own way.
that, in its own way, it had a nice ending because everything
Hmm.
kind of got wrapped up with the characters as well. Like each character kind of wrapped up. Like Owen Wilson's character as well had his own arc of being like, oh, I don't want to work at the TV anymore. I just want to live life, essentially. And
Yeah.
that's how we kind of see him going to do his own thing and everything like that. That's how it ends off with him as well. You know, we see that arc of him obviously always been working for the TVA where he's just like, nah, I'm good. Like, I just want to like live life and not control it. You know, he doesn't want to control time anymore. And where Loki,
Yeah.
after everything he went through, found his glorious purpose. And it was just so good to see the final lines that he said to Mobius and
Yes.
Sylvie were the exact same lines he said to Odin
In
at the end of
Thor.
Thor.
Yep.
I was
Oh,
just like,
so good.
oh my gosh. And it's like two completely different scenes where he's like evil in that one and good in this one. And it's just like,
Yep.
holy shit. Like it works so well.
Oh, it wraps it off
It
so
wraps it
well.
up. It wraps it up so well.
So well. So, Barry, would you like to give final thoughts and ratings on Loki Season 2?
Yeah. So I'll give for this episode, I'll give it a rating
Oh, yes.
of 9.5. This
Nice.
episode alone, just because, yeah, it was an amazing piece to watch. Like I literally got teary-eyed watching the end of this. Is because it's so great to see, like, because I'm such a big comic book fan as well, and I've like read a few of the Loki comics and everything like that because of Tom Hiddleston's character. I'm like getting more interested in it now, where it's like now I want to get all the comics type
Oh,
thing.
now
and
I
read
want
up.
to,
But
yes.
he's like become like my top 5 like Marvel character now because
Oh,
of Tom
yeah,
Hiddleston's
definitely.
performance. And it's so good to see that there's been an adaptation like this put on screen for people to watch like this, and it's actually amazing to watch. Like it was something like it was really emotional like a part to it. You know, it was great to see. So yeah, 9.5, sorry, for this episode. Do you want to give a rating for the overall show as well?
Yes, an overall show rating, or should I say what I thought of this?
Yeah,
episode
you say.
first?
Yeah, you say first.
Okay, so just this episode alone, I think is a 9. It wraps like you said, it wraps everything up nicely. The performances carry it so well. I love everyone in this show. I love every moment in this show. I love every episode of this
Yep.
show. The CGI is great. Everything carries it. Loki's so good, and it makes me want to go read Loki comics.
Yeah.
Like the Marvels makes me not want to read any Captain Marvel comics.
No.
This makes me want to read Loki stuff because it's so good.
I want to
So
get a Loki
interesting, and I-
statue. That's my next costume. It's going to be a Loki costume.
Oh wow, that would be insane. But yeah, no, it's just so well done, and it makes me want to see what these writers can do next. I imagine these
yes.
guys doing a Doctor Strange movie, or
Oh, that'd be
even
cool.
something mystical, cosmic, supernatural. Any corner of that Marvel universe, these guys would nail, and I really hope that that's the case. I hope these guys get thrown onto a Doctor Strange or a Midnight Suns, a Ghost Rider
Or just
movie. Who knows?
The next Avengers film. Get them to
Or
do
even
Secret
the Secret
Wars.
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just why not? I mean, these guys clearly know how to like do a really good.
And whoever's the
well-contained story.
cinematographer as well for this past season, also get them
Yes.
to do every single Marvel
I
film.
loved it. I love the cinematography in this because it
Yeah,
felt
yeah.
so different, and
Yeah.
it felt a lot more real. There was a lot more
Yeah.
handheld sort of stuff,
Yep.
and there was a lot more natural shakiness to things.
Yes,
and it just felt really good. And it compared to the whole cleanness that most of the MCU things do, is
Yeah.
just kind of this otherworldly perfectness, and this
Yep.
felt real. And
Yeah.
I would love Secret Wars or the Kang Dynasty or whatever's next to have this sort of grounded, real feel. And also have this level of writing. So yeah, the episode
Yes.
itself is a 9. But what would you say for the season as a whole?
Season as a whole. Whoa. I'm going to have to give it a 9 as a whole. Like this has been absolutely amazing to watch. I can't really think of like a few things really besides it's just like maybe like just a few things of certain characters not having enough screen time, maybe, and like following different stories. But then obviously there was only 6 episodes per season, which I still can't wrap my head around that they managed to pull all this off in 6 episodes, which is just like, what? Like you've managed to like do individual episodes at the beginning that were like really well done, kind of their own neat thing. And then also wrap around this massive universe type thing. They've literally built like their own cinematic universe inside of a cinematic universe doing Loki.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then just the way that all the acting was on every single like episode of it, even the first season, and the overall story arc of with these characters and what they wanted to show and where it could possibly go from here. Like it leads off in a good way, I would like to say. Like where this show has ended now, I'm hoping like they can continue this momentum of it. And like I said, hopefully they get the writers, the cinematographer and everything like that behind this, on the directors, and they go and do more Marvel stuff, because I really want these guys to do more Marvel stuff, especially if we have it like this type thing. And it's just been an amazing show to watch. Like we were saying, like it's literally on par with like a final special of like Doctor Who and everything like that.
Yes.
And they are so well done, all of those. And it was just great to actually watch an actual good Marvel show for once, and probably, I hope,
I know.
well, probably for a while anyway, this is going to be probably the best MCU show that we have, and probably the best MCU thing we have of anything. Like literally, this has been an absolute amazing thing to watch, and I put it up as like one of the best things Marvel has ever produced ever over the past
Definitely up there.
15 years now. How long have we been going for?
2008. So yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
About that. Insane.
Insane.
Yeah, I'm giving this season as a whole a 9 as well. Because it's so different from everything else Marvel, but it's also really good. Which is the best things is when it's different and good. The MCU is so broad. The Marvel universe is so broad. You have the potential to tell these infinite amount of stories with these infinite amount of characters and have them all feel different. And when you do everything and make it feel the same and generic and boring, I'm looking at you, the Marvels, it ruins the experience of this otherworldly, fantastical universe. Whereas things like this raise that so much. It's like you want to fall in love with this world due to things like this being so different and so good. And coming off the heels of the Marvels and Secret Invasion, this is insane. Like just how good this is. Definitely, Marvel should definitely be looking at the names behind this and give them more power. Give them on the bigger things. Make them on the movies. Because these guys prove that they can tell this amazing, like Doctor Who level story in 6 episodes and make it so good and perfect. And with these amazing performances, I want these guys to do bigger things. And I want the other guys doing Secret Invasion and the Marvels to do less things. But we'll have to see where it goes, because the Marvel universe, like I said, there's so much. The next thing I think is Echo in January.
Yeah, January 30th.
Yeah. And that looks surprisingly good. Like I didn't think I'd ever say that about Echo, a character nobody's ever cared about. But that looks Daredevil-y, and that looks good. I'm very happy, because again, that's something different as well. If it wasn't different, it would look bad. Even if it wasn't bad, it would look bad because we've seen it 100 times before.
And I think with like everything that's been going on with the strikes and everything like that, because obviously a lot of stuff's been postponed and they've gone back now to be actually like reshooting things. I think Kevin Feige and the people behind Marvel right now are being like, oh, we know we've fucked up. We know we've fucked up. We know we've made some bad films and shows and everything. No, I think they have, well, especially the performance of the Marvels and past everything. And them going, basically, they're, by the sounds of it, and I'm surprised you didn't cover this on the news earlier, they are basically reshooting the entirety of the next Captain America film. Oh,
see, I didn't cover that because I didn't know.
That got released yesterday. So basically all the big events in that film, they did a test screening for the film and stuff like that, or what's already been done. None of them were happy with it. They were like, this is dog shit.
Oh my God.
So they are literally redoing the entire movie now again. And then this also goes the same thing with the Daredevil show, which a few weeks ago we covered.
Yep.
They are basically, they got rid of the entire writing staff, the entire everybody, because they just didn't feel like it was Daredevil enough, because he literally didn't get into the suit until the 4th episode. So they're getting new writers in to redo it all again. Apparently, some of the people that made the Punisher show are actually on that now. So I'm happy about that. And then also is where with Blade, we covered last week as well.
Yeah.
That the guy who wrote Logan is writing that, and it's going to be done as an R-rated film. And at the moment, from what people have said anyway, because apparently I suspect the guy has already written it, because apparently they say this is actually going to be amazing now because of what he's written.
I hope so. Like I said, this is such an amazing, fantastical universe that I want to see these stories done well.
Yeah.
Because there's so much potential for every single one of these characters to have good stories.
Yes.
So yeah, it really sucks when we get bad stuff.
Yeah.
And then it's so good when we get good stuff.
Yeah. It's becoming like almost like Star Wars, really. Like it's like you gotta have the bad stuff and then you also gotta have the good stuff, you know. You gotta have the perfect balance.
We don't have to have the bad stuff.
No, we don't. Like, we don't.
Especially with Marvel.
Yeah,
Star Wars is a little different because they're creating most of the stories themselves.
Yes.
I know that they're pulling from Legends and whatever, yada yada. But Marvel, you have characters since the 60s of stories.
75 years of stuff you can bring up. 80 years, sorry.
More money than Star Wars. Marvel is making more money than Star Wars. And so you have the opportunity to hire the best of the best in cinema everywhere.
Yep.
Like the best cast, the best crew to get to make these things come to life. So yeah, it's really disappointing when they don't. So I'm very glad that Loki turned out good.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
This will be always something that I'll be like, yeah, I'll go back and watch this again because this was absolutely amazing to watch, and I loved every single second of it.
It's very rarely an MCU thing that I go back and rewatch.
Yeah.
There's like 5-6 movies maybe.
Well, here's the thing, because like
times.
this is another thing that obviously, you know, and I think we talked about the podcast before. I like to collect physical copies of, and I don't do that quite often. It's only things I really like. If they actually do make a 4K copy of Loki that you can buy on 4K, it will be one of the things I will grab.
That'd be cool. They're doing the first season on 4K.
Yeah, so I hope they announce they do second season.
I hope they just put them all on DVD like they used to. It's so disappointing. But that's another topic for another week, Barry, because I think that brings us to the end of another episode.
That is the end of another episode. So thanks for joining, everybody. This has been We Talk Film. You know where we are. You know what we're doing. We're talking about films, and we'll be doing it next week, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But also, as well, make sure to, you know, tell us what you thought about it. Did you go and see The Marvels? Did you like it? Have you watched Loki? Let us know down in the comments or wherever you want to do those things. And thanks for joining.
Hello. Bye-bye, everyone. Do all the things. Follow us. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good ending. I liked your little ending part. That was good.
I had a little ending part.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Just the way you said things at the end, it was good. Are we director's cut now? Hiya, YouTube.
Yeah, hiya, YouTube. I don't think it'll be a very long director's cut, if I'm being honest.
No,
we went long. We went long with that episode.
That's okay. It was fun.
It was fun.
Oh, I have a suggestion for next week, though. We can talk about.
Oh, yeah.
So, would you like to cover what's out of Invincible so far?
Yeah, well, I've been keeping up to date with Invincible, so
I haven't, but I can.
Okay, you can. Cool.
And then we just have to find a movie.
Yeah. Well, there was a film that comes out like this week. Is it the next Hunger Games coming out?
Yes, I was like, yeah, that's right.
I forget what it's called. I was like, the next Hunger Games.
Songbirds and Snakes.
Songbirds and Snakes.
Oh, when's Napoleon?
End of the month. End of the month.
I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunger Games, November 17th.
Wednesday. It actually comes out Wednesday at a lot of places in Australia.
Oh, sweet. That's perfect. We can have a look at seeing that. And then maybe Napoleon after that.
Yeah.
And then after that, I think it's Godzilla -1. I would like to cover
Ooh, that would be cool.
because the Japanese one, yeah. And then we got a bit of a gap until we're
Yeah,
skipping Wonka.
Thursday, November 16th.
Okay, cool. We might be able to go see it Thursday.
Oh, they're having
Maybe.
like a special screening on Wednesday as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to go to that.
No, it's already like nearly sold out.
Oh, that's a shame. Anyway, we'll see it at some point. What else can we talk about? Oh, guess what we're doing tomorrow, YouTube?
What are we
We're
doing? Oh,
film-
I act as the YouTube
we're-
audience. We're filming a film.
We're filming a film.
We're
doing
filming a
short
film.
film.
We're doing a short film. Well, we've
I
already been
am-
doing a short film for
I
the past week,
am-
and you're director for this short film.
I
Though.
am directing a short film, and Barry is an assistant cameraman on this short film. It will be interesting. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, no, I'm very much looking forward to it more than the other one, if I'm being honest. I think just because like the people behind this one, obviously you directing, we got Ben as DOP and everything like that. We all work well together. We know what we're doing together as well and stuff like that, because we've worked beforehand and stuff like that. And we just work well in general together.
Yeah, I mean, this film is basically the Lancelin crew, but
Yeah.
without Jason as the so
Yeah.
it's like, I mean, that's pretty good. We got the same sort of makeup team, same sort of everyone. We've even got the same actors. Soraya,
Same, yeah,
who,
that's right.
played a character in that
yep.
Lancelin film, is back in this one.
Yeah.
So that'll be really fun to see. But it's going to be a very busy couple of days from us. So yeah, sorry if the podcast felt a little bit rushed tonight. I've been very busy.
Yeah, and then I also have to try and get this uploaded, the YouTube side of things, and done before I leave early tomorrow morning.
Oh,
So hopefully my internet doesn't cut out tonight. That would be great.
Don't jinx it. Touching wood right now.
Right. But yeah, no, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Hopefully. Let's get out of here.
Let's get
I
out
gotta
of here.
get some sleep.
See you, YouTube.
Gotta do the dishes.
Catch you next time.